Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Srila Prabhupada Book Reading Club.
Hare Krishna, Mata.
Yesterday we finished. Yes, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. And yes, today is Ekadashi also. So happy Krishna conscious Ekadashi to all. So yesterday we finished reading of a purport of a first shloka of Nectar of Instruction. So now today we will give some explanation and we will go through the instructions which was given by Srila Prabhupada and Rupa Goswami. Okay. So let's start our session by offering the prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपं कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सगण रघुनाथान्वितं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहित कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांच। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरे प्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनि इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुलङ्गायते गिरि यत्कृपातहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So firstly, should we start with reciting the shlokas? So, okay, let me share the screen. वाचो वेगं मनसः क्रोध वेगं जिह्वा वेगं उदर उपस्थ वेगं एतान् वेगां यो विषहेत धीर सर्वम् अपि मां पृथ्वीं स्पृशेत्. Hare Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji, you can continue, okay?
Hare Krishna,
One by one.
Mataji. Vacho vegam mansa krodh vegam jiva vegam udar upastu vegam etan vegam yo visheshtu dhira sarvam api mam prithvim sa shishyat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam Yuvva vegam udarabhupastha vegam Etan vegan yo vishaheda dhirah Sarvam abhimam pratibhim sa shishyat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam जिह्वा वेगम उदरोपस्थ वेगम एतान् वेगान् यो विषहेत धीरः सर्वामपि मां पृथिवीं सशिष्यात्.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी. वाचो वेगं मनसा क्रोध वेगं जीवा वेगं उदरोपस्थ वेगं एतान् वेगान् यो विषहेत धीरः सर्वाम् अपि मां पृथ्वीं सशिष्येत्.
Haripal Prabhuji. Yes, Surendranath Narayan Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhu, Mataji. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam chiha vegam udaraspasa vegam etan vegam yo visheshata dhira sarvam apimam prithvim sa sisyat. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Mataji.
Hari Bol Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Karuna Mataji.
वाचो वेगं मनसा क्रोध वेगं जिह्वा वेगं उदरोपस्थ वेगं एतान् वेगान् यो विषहेत धीरा सर्वामपि मां पृथिवीं सशिष्यात्. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol Mataji. Yes, Dipti Sahu Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. वाचो वेगं मनसः क्रोधवेगं जिह्वा वेगम् उद्रोपस्थवेगम् एतान् वेगान्यो विषहेत धीरः सर्वामपि मां पृथिवीं स्वशिष्यात्.
Hare Krishna
Yes,
Mataji.
Harshita Mataji. Yes, Sharmila Mataji.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jivva vegam udaropastha vegam etan veganyo vishaheta dhiraha sarvam api mam prativim sashishyat. Thank you, Mataji.
Yes, Harshita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jiva vegam udaropastha vegam etan veganyo vishahet dhirah sarvam api mam prithvim sashishyat.
Hari Bol Mataji. Yes, Narasimha Das Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jivha vegam udaropastha vegam etan vegan yo visahata dhera sarvam apimam prudvim sasishyat. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna Ras Sagar Prabhu. Would you like to recite?
Hare Krishna
Or
Mataji.
yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
वाचो वेगं मनसः क्रोधवेगं जिह्वा वेगम् उदरोपस्थवेगम् एतान् वेगान्यो विषहेत धीरा सर्वम् अपीहं पृथिवीं सशिष्यात्. हरे कृष्ण.
Hari Bol Prabhuji. Yes, Dattatreya Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jiva vegam udara prostha vegam eta vegam yo visheshta dhira sarvam api mam prithvim sa sisyat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone has remaining like Punya Leela Hari Priya Prada Mataji? Would you like to recite? Yes, Pushpa Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण मदाई दंडवत प्रणाम. वाचो वेगं मनसा क्रोधवेगं जिह्वा वेगम् उदरोपस्थवेगम् एतान् वेगान् यो विषेत धीरः सर्वम् अपि मां पृथिवीं सशिष्यात्. हरे कृष्ण माताजी.
Hari Bol Mataji and Prabhuji. Yes, now we can move to the summary now. So in preface only, we see that like this book is written by Srila Rupa Goswami, and this book is for the neophyte devotees, because like when neophyte devotees follow the instructions, rules and regulation, follow the Vaishnava etiquettes, they can like progress in the spirituality in faster way. Okay, and like yes, like advancement in a Krishna consciousness is depend on the attitude of follower. Okay, Srila Prabhupada is giving instruction, but it is we have the choice to we have to follow the instruction or not, or we have the choice to take the Krishna conscious seriously or not. Okay, and like to perform any duties when you are like even to the material plane, if you want to achieve something great, so we have to control our senses, like we have to take care of our diet, we have to take care of sleep, and we have to follow the rules and regulation. So like even to attain the material success or material things, we have to control our mind and senses. And like even in a yoga, like when yogis, they also practice the same kind of things now, like they start with the controlling mind and senses. So in the spirituality also, in the bhakti yoga also, like in starting we have to control our mind and senses, but it is little different from the yogis and these material people, but because they artificially try to restrain their senses from the sense object, and like which is very difficult, and like then they will fall prey for the maya. But when it comes to the devotees simply engage their senses in Krishna's service, and in this way they can control their senses and mind. So in first verse we have seen now, like we have to control the six urges. What are the six urges? We have to tolerate the urge to the speak, the mind's demands, action of anger, the urges of tongue, belly, and genitals. So yes, in the starting we see the like Parikshit Maharaj and Sukdeva Goswami, they are discussing some questions. So Parikshit Maharaj put one question that then what is the use of the atonement for the people who cannot control their senses? And like from this discussion, like we saw with the one analogy, like and also like we saw the three kinds of people. One is a more intelligent. They simply by the hearing from the shastras they understand, and second kind of a people, they are a less intelligent. they they hear from the shastras also, but like they also see, and like it means they also experience the things, and like when they get the experience then they understand. Okay, then these people are a less intelligent, and you know they are a rascal and foolish person, like even after the hearing, even after the experiencing many times, even after the suffering, then also they repeat the same things. So that's why Prabhupada called us a rascal, because like in many times like Prabhupada giving the instruction but we don't follow the same instruction, you know, like hearing from the shastras, we hear from the shastras this world is a dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So then also like we don't listen to this statement from the Krishna, we don't listen to the statement of our acharyas. We said okay, let me work hard and let me make this dukkhalayam to the sukhalayam, but this is a practically impossible. So first, even we hear from the shastras, from our acharyas, from the Krishna, then also like we are not understanding, means it means like we are not in category of a more intelligent person. Then it comes to the second person, a second level, that is a less intelligent. Okay, we hear from the shastras this is a dukkhalayam ashashvatam, but like we try to attempt na, let me make the sukhalayam. So we make the attempts like many attempts to make this sukhalayam, like, but then also we experience na, yes actually I cannot make this sukhalayam, this is the dukkhalayam and I will suffer here. So better is to follow the instruction of Srila Prabhupada and Krishna and go back to the Godhead. So he understand by like experience, he understand from the experiences. And like there is another kind of person who is called as the foolish and rascal, because like yes, shastras are saying this is a dukkhalayam ashashvatam, like then also like then he suffers also, like he suffers for the 10-15 years, he suffers for the 20-30 years in this material world, and he comes to know that oh, in this material world I'm not going to get the real happiness, I will be suffer only. But then also even he is at the age of 40, 50 or 60, he don't know like when he is going to leave this body, then also he do not take the Krishna consciousness, then also he do not take the instruction of a Srila Prabhupada seriously. So this person are called as a foolish or rascal. So today we can meditate, okay, like we are a foolish rascal or we are intelligent or more intelligent, and we have to increase our steps now. Like okay, currently I'm a rascal, then but I can become less intelligent, from the less intelligent I can become the more intelligent. So like when it comes to me, I'm the rascal, okay, I'm not following every instructions of a Srila Prabhupada. So yes, so like we have to meditate on this, we have to think on this positively. Then like, and the analogy was that like okay, one person like he heard from his mother or from the higher authorities, okay, stealing is a bad, so he don't steal, and in entire life he don't steal, so he's the more intelligent. And there is another person like who hears like okay, stealing is not good, but he wants to steal. At one time he steal, then he is cuffed by the policeman, he get the punishment. The next time he don't steal, okay, he learn from the experience. And there is a third person who is known as a rascal or foolish, okay, like he goes to the jail, when it come out again he cannot control his senses or urges to steal, he again keep stealing, keep going in a jail, and this continues in a cycle. So like this person is no, called as a foolish. So it is same for us now, we get the stealing means like we are trying to exploit the property of a Krishna. So like we are stealing, so like when like we are giving this human body, so we have to like undergo the atonement, we have to control our senses, and like we have to stop the stealing. So when we do this, like we can, that time we can come out of a jail. But like when we still have the desire to steal from the Krishna, like exploit the property of Krishna, then like we again come in a jail, means again we are come in this sufferings of a material jail, we come in, again come in a cycle of a birth and death. So there is only way to learn from the Shastras and get out of this things. And it is a compared to like one who is not controlling their senses. It is compared to the elephant bathing, Kunjera Sauchat. Because like when elephant take very nice bath and when he come out at the shore, like he throw the dirt. So then what is the use of this bath? Okay. So similarly, when on one hand we chant the Hare Krishna, on other hand we practice the forbidden sinful actions, then there is a no use. Okay, and like we commit the seventh offense, that to commit the sinful actions on the strength of a holy name. So we don't have to do this. Okay, like and we also learn for the pious activities there is a different account, and for the impious activity there is a different account, and like they are totally independent, and like you cannot add or subtract from a pious activity from impious activities. For the whatever pious activity you have to enjoy. So like a so-called you can enjoy it in a heaven or some other planets, or and for the impious activities you have to suffer, and you cannot minus the like a 5 impious activities from the pious activities, so your total balance will be 5 pious activities. No, like you have to suffer for your like impious activities also. A sinful activity cannot be counteracted by the pious activity. Okay, so then what is the real prayaschitta? like then real prayaschitta is to awaken our dormant Krishna consciousness, and like awake our dormant love for Krishna. And why it is called as a dormant? Because it is a present. Just because we are in ignorance, we are under the influence of a Maya, we are not able to feel that love. Okay, but when that spark is a fan by the instructions of our spiritual masters, then like that fire will be arise, and like our dormant love will be awakened. Okay, so like real atonement comes by the following by following the real knowledge. And how we can take the real knowledge? By the standard process, by the bhakti yoga. And here is the one statement: human life is meant to be trained according to the certain principles. So like yes, humans are not we are the humans, we are not animals. Okay, even the animals get trained now, like even we see this analogy that senses are compared to the elephant. Why they are compared to elephant? Because senses are very strong like an elephant. But the good part is, like when we train the senses, like it can be engaged in Krishna's service. When we train the elephant to give the blessings with his tongue, and he can take the processions of a lord in a temple, then we are engaging elephant or like our senses in Krishna's service. On other hand, like when we are not controlling senses, like we are using the senses whimsically, we are falling prey to the urges of our senses, like it will create the havoc. You can see the mad elephant, he will kill the people, he will destroy the public properties. So it is very important to control our senses. And yes, Prabhupada said, like this human life is for the tapasya. And yes, and this process is a gradual process. It will uplift you gradually. Okay, like today I chanted 16 round, tomorrow I will not going to advance. Okay, so we should have a faith in Krishna, and we should have a faith in a Krishna, in a Srila Prabhupada instructions, that with the time I will become perfect because I am following the instructions. Okay, and also like in a yogic practice there are there is some rules and regulations like they have to practice the austerity from brahmacharya, then artificially they try to control their mind, then senses, and then they give up the positions in a charity, then they practice the yoga asanas, yama niyama asana, etc. They practice all of these things, but we can surpass all of these stages simply by following the four regulative principles. And this is very easy process which is given by the Srila Rupa Goswami. So the first is the Vacho Vegam. So how we can control the ability of a speak, like because we have the urge to speak, and like even like in the purport, that's why Prabhupada is written in here. Like we can see now, like there are many self help books, there are many novels, but there is no glorification of Lord. Like so this all are this all they write volumes of books on the literature. It is a like urge to speak, that's why they write. So like urge of the speak can be controlled by the use like using our tongue, using our speaking ability in a Krishna's service. So like we have whenever we are opening our mind, we have to try we have to try to glorify Krishna, we have to speak the Krishna katha. So we don't have to speak with the materialistic mind or the impersonalist Mayavadi. And when it comes to control our mind, which is very restless and frickling, how we can control our mind? We can control our mind by simply fixing our mind on the lotus feet of a Supreme Lord. Okay. So and it is also the analogy given from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna is like a sun and Maya is like a darkness. So when sun is a present, then there is no darkness. So when Krishna is a present inside our mind, so there is no question Maya will harass us. Okay, but like when Maya is harassing us, then we have to question ourselves: is my heart really like have a Krishna? Or like I'm simply imposing that like I have Krishna? No. So like when you have a Krishna, there is no question of a Maya. So if one always thinks that Krishna and how to serve the Krishna, like one's mind will be naturally controlled. So like at every moment, like we have to think, how can I please Krishna? How can I serve Krishna? And like in this way we can control our mind. And like how we can control our anger, krodha vegam, like we can engage our anger in a Krishna service. When it comes to the personal honor, dishonor or insult, like devotees tolerate it. But when it comes to Krishna and like when it comes to the pure devotee, when someone insult them, like then he cannot tolerate, he uses his anger. As a Hanumana uses his anger to burn the Lanka, and as a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used his anger to punish the Jagai and Madai. Okay, so we have to use our anger uh, in a right way. So yes, when it comes to the control the urges of a tongue, that like a tongue will always ask us the palatable dishes. So like how we can control the urges of tongue? By simply accepting prasadam. And here Prabhupada says that like devotees only accept, here is a word only, okay? Devotees accept the only prasadam which is offered to the Krishna, okay? And when it comes to control the genitals, that like or the control the sex impulses, that like we have to use the genitals only to beget the Krishna conscious children, okay? And like here we also see now the real duty of the parents to make their children Krishna consciousness. The real duty of mother and father, that like okay, this child has come to my womb, so in next life he shouldn't go to the womb of another mother, he should directly go back to the Godhead. So we have to like we have to practice all of this under the qualified bona fide spiritual master, okay? Then we also see na like there is anavritti, which is the explanation of Updeshramrita, like which is written by the Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura. So like this question will be asked in a Bhakti Shastri also, like what is the explanation of Upadeshamrita written by the Bhakti Siddhanta Thakura, okay? So in that he says the material identification create the three kinds of urges. So material identification means like we don't have the real knowledge, na? We think that I am this body. So when we think that like I am this body and like I can enjoy in this body, so like it will create the three kinds of urges. So what are these three urges? The urge to speak. Second is the demands of a mind and the demands of a body. Urges and demands are the same, na? Like mind is asking you something, body is asking you something, okay? So even the tongue is asking you something. So demands and urges are the same here. So yes, there are three urges. First is urge to speak, then urges of a mind and urges of a body. So yes, like, and what Prabhupada is saying, when the living entity falls victim to these three types of urges, his life become inauspicious. So like we don't have to fall victim for these three urges. And like one who practice the resisting the demand or urges, he is called as a tapasvi, or like who is called as a austere. So like yes, Prabhupada said like human life is for the tapasya. So we also have to become a tapasvi. Tapasya means we have to restrict these urges, okay, or the demands of a mind, body, and the demands of a tongue to speak, okay? So like by the tapasya, we can overcome the victimization of this material energy. And we also see that this Maya Devi, or like a material world, is the external energy, external potency of Supreme Personality of a Godhead. So when it refers like a urge to speak, like we should we shouldn't speak anything nonsense, na? Like and Prabhupada, what Prabhupada said, like when you are speaking anything else than Krishna consciousness, then you are speaking nonsense, because like whatever things you are going to speak, it is going to entangle you in this material world, and like you will again take birth in a cycle of birth and death. Okay, so like we don't have to talk with the Mayavadi philosopher or karma kandi people, like who work for some fruitive results, or too much materialistic people. Okay, like when we are even like in our life, like we have to talk with them, but like we shouldn't associate with them. Like it means like, okay, they are speaking too much material things, or they are speaking too many atheistic thing, but like we don't have to give them entry to in our heart. Okay, whatever they are talking, we have to hear from one ear, and we have to forget from the we have to remove it from the next from our another ear. So like we shouldn't give our heart to the this kind of people. Okay, and it also association with it also, na, like whatever books we are reading, whatever reels we are watching, or whatever videos we are seeing, like with what people we are associating. So all are the association. So like we don't have to associate with this Mayavati, karma kandi, and materialistic people. Okay, so like yes, and then how we can control this? By diverting our talking about the subject of a Krishna. So like for the devotees, when they open their mouth, they open their mouth to glorifying the Lord, not for any nonsense or not for the material things. And in a Bhagavatam, like one shloka is quoted by the Srila Prabhupada, first canto 5 chapter 10 and 11 shloka. In this shloka it is described, na, like there are some words which do not describe the glories of a Lord. And glories of a Lord, the glories of a Lord, like they can sanctify the entire universe. We also seen an example of Dhruva Maharaj, na, when he is practicing the austerity, like entire like world was a trembling. So like simply calling out the Krishna's name and like glorifying Krishna, the place can be sanctified, even the universe can be sanctified. So like the literature which do not describe the glories of a Lord, they are compared to the like crows which are present at the place of a pilgrimage. And like the transcendental devotees, they do not derive any kind of pleasure in this kind of a literature. So we don't have to read or watch the videos, or we don't have to read the magazines or newspaper, like which content a lot of material things, but there is no Krishna conscious. On other hand, we can read the Srila Prabhupada books and the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and the small books also. Okay, so and like on other hand, like the books which are full of a transcendental glories, full of a name, fame, form, pastimes, and unlimited Lord, is a different creation, the full of a transcendental world. Like this can create the revolution in the in pious lives of this worldly misdirected civilization. So we must hear the Hari Katha, and we should give up, or like we should sometimes like our profession is like that, like we have to read the newspaper or we have to watch some material videos, but we have to reduce their time, and we don't have to give our heart. Okay, our heart should be only for Krishna. So then what is the conclusion? That like we have to only talk about the devotional service, and we don't have to uselessly talk the nonsensical things. Okay, so like our like when we are like using our the speaking ability, our soul our solely purpose should be like realizing Krishna consciousness knowledge. And like when it comes to agitations or the demands of a mind, they are divided into the two divisions. So what are the two divisions of this flickering mind? That first is a avarodha priti, means unrestricted attachment. Okay, so like we have we have like a lot of attachment na? Like Prabhupada stating here that adherence to the philosophy of Mayavadis, believe in a fruitive results of a karmavadis, and believe in the plans of a material desires is called as a avrodha priti, means unrestricted attachment. So like Gyanis, Karmins, and materialistic plan makers, they generally attract the attentions of a conditioned souls. So like like we have unnecessary attachment to our like a car, house, or our property, our son's wife, our family members. We have too much attachment to this, and like we have the too many material plans. Okay, I have to build this business, I have to work so much hard, like I want this position, I want that positions. So we have the too much attachment. Okay, that's why our mind flickers, our mind is restless. And second is a Virodha yukta krodha, means anger arising from the frustration. So when we don't get anything, so we get the frustrated, or like when anything doesn't happen according to our plan of a sense gratification, then we get the frustration. So these are the two reasons why our mind become the restless. So first is the frustration, because like we are not able to gratify our senses, and then second is the attachment to the material things. So like so because of these two things we become angry, and also our mind is uncontrolled because we lament for the past thing. Okay, if I do this thing in this way, so can so in that way I can gratify my senses more. And in like we hanker for the we hanker for future things now. Okay, if I get this, then I can enjoy very nicely. So this lamentation for the past and hankering for the future also make our mind restless. Okay, so like we have to give this attachment, and like we also have to give like when we give up the attachment to the things, so there will be no frustration. So like we can be calmly, we can practice the Krishna consciousness. Then like third is the demands of a body. So demands of a body can be divided into the three categories. What are the three categories? Tongue, belly, and the genitals. So they are in a straight line. So like all bodily demands begin with the tongue. And if here it is written by the Srila Prabhupada that if one restrain the demands of a tongue, then like by limiting the activities of eating prasadam, then urges of a belly and genitals can be automatically controlled. So like firstly we have to control the urges of a tongue. And how we can control? By simply taking the prasadam. And that's why like before taking prasadam we say like a prasada honoring mantra that sharira avidya jal mahaprasade govindena. So yes, like in that it is says na Bhakti Vinoda Thakur says like our body is a lump of ignorance, and our senses are the paths which are leading us to the death. And like we are the fallen in the on the ocean of a sense enjoyment. Okay, so and like in all the senses, the tongue is the most voracious and controllable. It is very hard to control our tongue, but like we can easily control the tongue by simply accepting the prasadam. So Krishna is so merciful that he gave us the remnants of his food so that we can control our senses, control our tongue. So when our tongue is controlled, then rest of the senses can get the control. Okay, so yes, like when it comes to accepting the prasadam, like for the food there are 6 rasas. like uh, like when one person get agitated by one of the rasas, he become the control, he become the victim of the tongue. Okay, so first is eating fish, meat, crabs, like eggs and other items which are produced from the semina or blood, like eaten in a form of a dead body. So like one Prabhuji said that like when people eating the non-veg, their body is a crematorian, because like they are not eating the live they kill someone first and then they eat. And generally like dead people like they are buried in a crematorium or they are burned in a crematorium. So like one people who are eating the non-veg, their bodies is none less than the crematorium. Okay, so others are attracted to eating vegetables like creepers, the spinach, and the milk products. and like they are eating for the satisfaction of the tongue's demand, and such eating for the sense gratification includes the use of the extra qualities of the spices like a chili, tamarind, and is to be given up by the Krishna consciousness person. So yes, Prabhupada here it is saying, so like we don't have to eat to gratify our senses. So and we also have to give up now, like we like to add some extra sour, extra spicy, or like we like to add that too much tamarind or too much chili. So Prabhupada saying, if you saying that, like if you want to become a Krishna consciousness, then like you have to give up this kind of sense gratification. When we are eating more than necessary, it is also sense gratification. Okay. And Prabhupada is also saying here, like a pan, haritaliki, betel nuts, various types of spices, making in a pan, making tobacco, LSD, marijuana, opium, liquor, even the coffee and tea, like this all are illicit demands of a tongue. Okay. So like even Krishna in a Bhagavad Gita in a chapter 18 also, he says like what are the sattvic food, what are the rastic food, and what are the tamasic food. So like we offer only the sattvic food to Krishna. So like whatever we are offering to Krishna, we have to accept them. It doesn't mean that like you like the meat or like you like the other tea or coffee or other things, so you are giving it to, you are offering to Krishna and then accepting it. No, it is an offense. So it is also stated now, like we have to serve Krishna favorably as a Krishna want. Okay, we don't have to worship Krishna whimsically. So yes, like by only practicing accepting the prasadam, we can get free from the Maya's victimization. So like we shouldn't eat the prasadam. Okay, the prasadam so is so tasty, so I should eat like I should eat too much. No, like you are eating too much and you are simply eating the prasadam uh, for the taste. It means like you are trying to satisfy your senses. Even the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, like if a rich person is calling you and you are simply going to the rich person because like you think that okay, I will get the very tasty prasadam, then you shouldn't go there, because you are not going there for a preaching, but you are going there for the sense gratification. So eating too much and eating only palatable prasadam, like when you have the choice, even it is like a pastimes from the Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrut, na? Like when Prabhupada used to give the prasadam, na? Like they simply used to like take the very sweets, na? They used to take the gulab jam. They don't used to take they don't used to take this like the sabzi made of a karela and all bitter gourd. So like and from the next time when Prabhupada comes to know, now Prabhupada used to mix all these things, the gulab jamun and like the bitter gourd and everything. Then he used to give, because you cannot differentiate between the prasadam. This is the higher state now. Like you should feel the okay, bitter gourd is also at the same level, roti is also at the same level, rice is also so at the same level, even the sweets like a rasmalai, gulab jamun, all are at the same level, because the Krishna saliva is a mix with it, and so like all prasadam is a transcendental, and you shouldn't differentiate between this. Okay, I like this, so I should eat this more. No, this means it like if you are doing this means you are doing the sense gratification. Just give me 10-15 minutes more, okay? So like we will finish this purport today. So yes, so like yes, we shouldn't eat overeat, or like we shouldn't eat only the palatable dishes. It is also sense gratification. And like yes, here Prabhupada said that like one who is too much attached to eating more and like attached to eating more and palatable dishes, like, and who too much attached to the desires of fulfilling his stomach and genitals desires, then he is unable to attain Krishna. So when we are unable to control our urge of a belly, a tongue, belly, and genitals, then we are not going to become Krishna consciousness. So we want Krishna, or we have to become a servant of his senses. So we have the choice now. So Prabhupada is directly saying, na, like if you are overeating, if you are not able to control the urges of tongue, belly, genitals, then you are not going to attain Krishna in this life. So we must control this. So, and also Prabhupada said that tongue, belly, and genital, they are situated in a straight line, so they are fall under the same category. So like solution is simply we only have to accept the prasadam. And also the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, na, like one do not have to dress luxuriously and like eat the delicious food stuff. And even, like I was hearing the one lecture where they are saying that for the brahmacharis, he shouldn't eat too much sweets, like when we eat the too much sweets, like too much sweets means like, okay, one or two gulab jam you can accept, or one katori of like a paisam you can accept. But if you're accepting more than that simply for the your taste, then it is very hard for them to control the senses. So when it comes to prasadam, we should take only which in a right amount and which is required for our body, not for the sense gratification. Okay. And like yes, we can see now, like when we go in a temple, there are some matajis or prabhujis, they dress so nicely, and their saris are like like they shine a lot, they shines a lot, and like they also put a lot of makeup on their face. So like everyone's attention goes to that mataji or that prabhuji only. But like when we are going in a temple, we are going in a bhava. Okay, we are the servant, so we should dress like dress in that attitude only. We shouldn't dress wearing too much shiny things and like too much jewelry, because in a temple Radha Krishna should be center. You shouldn't be center of for the all the devotees. Okay. So we have to take care that like we don't have to dress too much luxurious in a temple also, and even in outside also. Because like you are dressing too much luxurious means like you are thinking I am this body. Okay. And like it will like also going to entangle you in this material world. And like we shouldn't eat too much delicious food, because like our tongue next time tongue will demand all the delicious foods. Okay. He won't eat the simple food. And it is also like on the material point of view, it is also not good na, like all the delicious food contain lot of sugar, a lot of salt, and like it will increase your weight also, and it is not for good for health. Like it will increase the cholesterol levels, like then you will suffer from the diabetes, bp high, like and other things na, high cholesterol, all these things. Then you are like you may get the heart attack. So it is better to always eat in a controlled way. So yes, like as, and then third is that like genitals. So like when genitals are considered, there are two ways. First is the proper and improper. One is the legal and second is the illicit. So what is the legal? Okay, like when the man and women grow up under by according to rules and regulations, they can marry, and they can indulge in this kind of activities only to beget the children. So this is the natural, and like artificial means like watching the nonsense things, like dirty things on the screens. And it is also come now, like a social media is considered nowadays as a soft porn, because like they are they have designed in a such way that that will grab your attention. Like you don't have the idea now in next swipe what content is going to come. And like whatever we are watching, it is stored in our subconscious mind, so on the right time it will come out. So like why we have to fit the garbage inside our mind na? Like a Kigo principle, good in good out, garbage in garbage out. So like when it comes to feed our mind also, we have to feed him the Krishna conscious things, not a garbage things. Okay. So yes, there are many artificial things to gratify the genitals. Like like the illicit things also come. The thinking, planning, and talking about or actually having the sexual intercourse or satisfying the genitals by the artificial means, like which is known as the masturbation. Na? So like we don't have to even the think about this. Like even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu even says in this poem, na, like which is written by the Jagdananda Pandita, that even in a dream you don't have to think about women, and like for the women they don't have to think about the men. Like otherwise, like you will be caught in the clutches of a Maya. So like these are the subtle things. Now you are simply thinking, then you are planning to have that, then like you are talking about other persons about these things, and like then actually you have this kind of things, and like then you are artificially trying to gratify senses, and these all are sinful. Okay. And like it is very common in our generation. Okay, the people generally talk about these things, and like when they are not talking, like they are not considered the modern, or they are not considered civilized. So this is the bad condition. So like for the parents, it is very important to teach your children Krishna consciousness first, then every like all material knowledge will follow. Okay, you don't have to worry. So like yes, we don't have to talk the unnecessary things. And like when it comes to the controlling the genitals, we can remember the incidents of the Chota Haridas Thakur, how Lord Chaitanya, even simply he has the feelings in his mind to enjoy the women, then also Lord Chaitanya rejected him. So yes, like and in the conclusion, it is stated that the one who controls these 6 items, the speech, mind, anger, tongue, belly, and the genital, he is known as a Goswami. He is the master of the senses. So like we also have to become the master of the senses by following the footsteps of our 6 Goswamis of Vrindavana. Then like we can fully engage, like, and how we can control all this when we fully engage in a transcendental loving service of a Lord. On other hand, Godasas, like who engage in a service of a senses, the sense service in the material world. They are like Prahlad Maharaj, also known, called them Adantago, means like one who cannot control their senses, they are controlled by their senses. Okay, so like they cannot become the servant of Krishna. So for those who have decided to continue their existence in this material world for the gratification of their senses, there is no chance of becoming Krishna consciousness. So when we are not controlling our senses, so there is no chance of becoming Krishna consciousness, not by the personal endeavor, by the instruction from the others, and by the joint conferences. So like whatever amount of Harikatha you hear, whatever amount of endeavor you do, and like whatever like a kind of like consultations you take from your senior devotees, until and unless you control your senses, they like you are not going to become a Krishna consciousness, and you are going to being dragged by this unbribed senses in the darkest region of ignorance. So these senses are dragging you, and like as a Nama Prabhuji said, like it is very what kind like it is very insulting for the gentleman to be dragged by the senses to the darkest regions. And like this is the most favorite Shloka of Nama Prabhuna, he quoted many times. Punaraha punas charvita charvinam, means like we are achieving the chief, because in many times like we have enjoyed this eating, sleeping, defending, mating, but we still have the same attraction, and we are using this rare human form as the animal. So like we are achieving the same chief food, but we have the opportunity to become Krishna consciousness. So conclusion is that by simply engaging Krishna consciousness, you can control the senses, and once you control the senses, like you can better you can engage in Krishna consciousness. So they are related. You have to you at the same time you have to control the senses, and at the same time you have to you have to engage yourself in a Krishna service. So yes, like today's meditation is that like we have to become a Goswami, then only we can engage in a transcendental loving service of Krishna. Okay, so everyone should make the notes and try to follow all of these things in our life. Okay, so like even in this like even in a group, you can write the points what you have learned from this first shloka. Okay, so like from tomorrow, like we will start the second shloka. Okay, so Hare Krishna, happy Krishna conscious Ekadashi. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Ananta koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Kindly meditate on today's session also, and like you can again you can highlight your book, and like then you can go through the highlighted points, and please take out the instructions and try to follow in your life. Then only we are going to change. Like we have to become the more intelligent person. We don't have to remain on the platform of foolish and rascal. Okay, so Hare Krishna, happy Krishna conscious day. Please
Happy
like
Krishna
please
consciousness
chant more,
day. Thank
chant more,
you.
read more, and hear more.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
हाँ, हरे कृष्ण बताइए।
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna
Thank you,
Mataji.
Mataji,
Mataji.
Hare
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 Krishna.
Krishna
Krishna.
Thank
Mataji.
Anyone
you,
has
Happy
Prabhuji.
question?
Happy
Hare
We
Krishna
can
Ekadashi.
also
conscious
go through the
Ekadashi.
questions if
Hare Krishna
anyone
Mataji.
has questions.
Pranam. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Happy Krishna conscious Ekadashi.
Happy Krishna Conscious Ekadashi, Mataji. Happy Krishna Conscious Day.